Welcome to the Adapt Performance Podcast, the podcast that lets you delve into the minds of world-class guests all involved in the pursuit of performance. I'm your host, Jordan Webster, and let's get into it. Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Adapt Performance Podcast. So in today's podcast, we are joined by Ben Woolliss. Okay, so this is a part 2 with Ben. If you haven't listened to the first one, go and, I think it's episode 2 or 3, so go and check that out. In this episode, we're actually face to face. So it's my first in-person podcast, and that was really cool. It was different. I always try and make my podcast a little bit more conversational. You know, I just want it to be a back and forth between two people speaking about a specific topic and just having a good chat with, you know, elements of interviewing and that type of thing sprinkled in. But this one was, you know, a little bit different. Being face to face, you can just read body language. You can see where things are going a little bit more. Online, you can still do that. It can sometimes be a little bit glitchy depending on like internet connection and all that type of thing. It's a little bit harder. But that's something I'm building on. That's something hopefully I'm getting a little bit better at. So yeah, this is the first one in person, which was cool. We were trying to figure out the microphone issue for a long while. We were troubleshooting that. But yeah, so I'm going to split this into 2 parts. Okay, so this will be 2 different episodes. In the first episode, some of the things we are going to chat through, basically based off of common questions that I get around combat sports, but also Ben put something out on his Instagram. Just get some questions that people wanted to know. So we touch on those over the, you know, both parts. First episode, some of the things we're going to cover, some of his favourite fights and why. We're then going to go through when he's not being a professional athlete and he's not training, he's not fighting, what is he doing, what's the other side of the athlete. We're then going to go through what are some of the common myths that he wishes he could, you know, debunk in professional combat sports. So we're going to be touching on money and perception and the long term, those types of things. And then what was the other one we cover? And then the other one is if you could go back and tell yourself something 10 years ago, what would it be? You know, what do you wish you knew around training or anything? So really good question, actually. I really like that because it gives you, it's basically a reflection tool, isn't it? You know, so you can go back and think, okay, right, that was something I would improve. And then you just feed that into the present day if you haven't already. So I'm going to leave that there then. I'm going to stop waffling. Let's get straight into the episode. As always, give us a heads up if you enjoy this stuff, okay? Give us some feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. We love to know, you know, because otherwise we're just going to carry on doing the same thing for forever, which could be good or bad, right? So without further ado, let's get into the episode with Ben. Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Adapt Performance Podcast. I'm buzzing because it's my first in-person poddy, so we've been messing about. We've been trying to sort out the fucking microphone. He's decided that he's not actually going to use the little ear muff thing. I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a little rat.
Yeah, there's no way I'm putting that on. It
looks smart. It's
the opposite.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of smart.
But yeah, so for today then, I'm doing something a little bit different. I've done a few Q&As for my one-on-ones, but I wanted to kind of get a little bit of an opportunity to get Ben to answer some questions, just because he's a little bit more interested than me. Good.
It's one way to go about it.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick us off with a nice, easy one, mate. Favorite fight that you have had so far?
So it's pretty difficult to put a favourite one first because they all kind of have their own significance, you know. It'd be easy to say like a big one, like Fighting on Glory or something would be your favourite, but that didn't really do anything for me, to be fair.
Where was that?
That was at the NEC in Birmingham. So that's like 16,000 seat arena, biggest organisation in the world at the time and stuff. And it was all right. It was good, but it would definitely wasn't my favourite fight. I don't know if that's because I was fighting like some 6'3" monster, but
It was Vinny, wasn't it?
Yeah, or Vinny Church. But
that was the Leonard, wasn't it? That was
Yeah, where they said his name from. Yeah.
So I think it's like when people book a fight announcer, they look at them sometimes and like, will he get words wrong? Okay, I want him. So he's just people listening. So his nickname was Vinny the Leopard.
Oh yeah.
Vinny the Leopard Church. Yeah. And obviously Vinny's going to be buzzing. He's fighting on Glory. It's a childhood dream. Yeah. Just as he's calling him out, Vinny the Leonard.
I think he wrote something about that as well.
He changed his Instagram name. That was what it was.
Fair man. He's a good sport with it all.
That's fucking ace.
Yeah, that was good. But now, even like the world title stuff, like when I won that, as soon as I'd finished and I won, there was no emotion behind it. I was just kind of just ready for the next task. My favourite one was probably, I fought Joe Hemsworth on the road to Glory, so the precursor to actually get onto Glory. And I think that was my favourite one because at this point, I was not ranked anywhere in the UK. So there was like a list of 100 people and my name wasn't even on it. And I'd just come from Grimsby to start living in Hertfordshire. And it was like my first big fight with the new gym that I was with. And he was ranked like number 5 in the UK or something, like real established. He'd had like 20 fights. He was the Muay Thai Grand Prix European champion. So it was like my first real step. And to be fair, I was probably a big underdog going into that fight because I think it was like my 3rd pro fight or something fighting him. And he'd had like 20, real high ranked. And that fight, I just felt like I was just in a flow state the whole way through it. Everything was just kind of clicking into place. Evasion, like I just felt like in a real good flow state. And the reason it was my favorite fight is because that was my first stamp to say like, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's from nothing to kind of like putting your name into. And after that, I was like ranked number 5 or something. You know, so like you jump this whole queue and showed everyone the level that you can perform at. Because I'd known what level I can fight at in my head since I was like 16. I was like, I'd look at these guys and be like, yeah, one day just give me the platform, give me the opportunity, and I'll show you. And then that was my first chance to be like, to actually prove myself, you know. So that was probably my favourite in that regard.
Why do you think, or how do you think you kind of landed in that flow state? Because that's kind of difficult, isn't it? Because you're trying to piece together. If you knew what got you exactly there, you'd repeat it every single time. You'd be undefeated. But what's the thing? Do you think? Why?
That I think maybe other fights I've had game plans and things like that, and I've had to try and fight a certain way. Whereas that was kind of the first time where I was like, just fight how you fight and you'll come off well. So like my fighting style is not very traditional. It's kind of like a big blend of all different types of things. But I would go into a fight previously with like maybe go in with more of a Dutch style, maybe try more of a Thai style. But that fight I was like, just do you, compete how you compete. And that was kind of what took me into that, because I would just do unorthodox things. But for me, it weren't really unorthodox because I do that every day in the gym. And I think just playing to all my strengths took me in a good spotlight for that, I think.
I suppose from that then I suppose it's hard, isn't it? Until you've kind of felt it click all together, you don't know what it feels like otherwise. It's like always, it's a difficult one. I think, what was your kind of run up into that in terms of like a performance standpoint? Was everything clicking, or was it a short camp, a long camp? Was no camp?
It was a long camp. To be honest, that camp had a little bit of, I wouldn't say rivalry, but we was fighting the guy from a gym down the road. And this was my first big fight for the new gym, Basement Martial Arts, that I was with. And then I kind of carried the weight of the gym on my shoulders because it was like gym versus gym for the local area. So I couldn't let them down in the sense of, I'm holding all that weight. So that camp was my first proper time, probably like pushing everything to the absolute limit, where I was dieting as much as I could, training like, it was just really something that could get me out of bed because I was holding so much pressure, which I enjoy that. I would rather like fight in something where I'm an underdog and there's loads of pressure and it forces me to get out of bed at it's 5 o'clock in the morning. You've got work later. Are you going to get up and run, or are you going to stay in bed? And those kind of fights, I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm just like naturally up, and I'm running. I'm doing hill sprints at 5 in the morning where it's pitch black outside. Like that kind of pushed me up a new level. Just carrying the weight of that thing, because I just love the pressure of it.
It's the lifestyle and everything, and everything's clicking together, everything's moving together.
Yeah, they're the moments that that I'm doing this for. You know, I don't just want to turn up and fight someone that, oh yeah, you're probably going to beat him, and you're doing it for the glory of you get the win. I want the challenge. I want that shit. This guy's like a dangerous fighter.
Everything together.
Yeah, I got to be on everything. And then even if they're well established and you know they're fit, you know they're strong, I'm like, let's go. I'm gonna let's see. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, let's fucking see who's fit. Let's see who's strong, and that's the shit that I'm here for. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah,
cool. I'm happy with that. I feel like we've got it. Let's go. I'm gonna mix these up a little bit. I think let's go for what do you wish you had known 10 years ago? So you are what, 28 years young?
28, yeah.
So you'd be 18, fresh-faced.
Fresh-faced.
Less hair on your face than now.
Beard, yeah. Same terrible haircut at the time when I was 18. So 18 years old. I'd had maybe 10 fights or something at this point. So still quite inexperienced. And what do I wish that I knew then? A lot of preparation and things like that. At that time, I was just still training really hard. I've always had like a good training ethos all the way through. I'll always bust my balls all the way through. But over the years, you kind of learn how to manage it all better. And don't get me wrong, even as I've gone through the years, there's still things that I've hit, and a couple of years later, you look back on it, reflect, and be like, yeah, that probably wasn't it. So I kind of wish, you'd understand the training philosophies and not just, man, I'd train on no food. It'd be like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I wouldn't like fuel myself properly the night before. I wouldn't be hydrated. Just kind of the preparation of everything, you know.
Well, just thinking about all the things that are actually outside of fighting. Is that what you mean? Is that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, all the external factors. Sleep. Yeah. Like that's only something that I started to take seriously in the last few years. Didn't realize how much that affects me. I'd be just a typical 18-year-old, you know. You'd be up till God knows what time, wake up early because you've got college or something. You're running off 4 or 5 hours sleep. And you're just moping around, and then you're going through training and dragging yourself through. But you don't want to be dragging yourself through these sessions. You want to be fueled, and because otherwise you're just fighting fatigue. Yeah, you're just surviving the sessions. But we don't want to be surviving. You want to be thriving and making every step that you can, like shortening that span to excel as quickly as you can.
I spoke about that. The last Q&A episode I did, I kind of spoke around every session that you train, you're always training at the expense of the next one. Yeah. So you could go super hard on a Monday. If you don't recover well the next day on a Tuesday, now you're 80%. Yeah. Okay. And that just follows on, and it just keeps going. It snowballs, it snowballs, it snowballs. Yeah. And the reality is, anybody that is a pro fighter, anybody that's a pro in any sport is training hard. They're all training hard. That's the shit that everyone likes doing. Everyone 100%. Likes going to the gym, and everyone likes smashing bags. Yeah. But it's all the other stuff. Can you stay disciplined with your nutrition, your sleep? You know, can you put your phone down at 10:30? It's hard though. That's the thing.
I think that's what makes the difference. Because you say everybody enjoys training. Because why else would we be here if we didn't enjoy sparring, running, and all those kind of things, and pushing yourself? The discipline part is can you keep your can you be on top of your nutrition throughout the whole camp? Can you go to bed early? Like when it becomes like I should get a good night's sleep tonight, or am I going to carry on watching TikTok till 3 a.m? It's like you say, the discipline to put that down and go. They seem super trivial, but that's the important stuff. That's really where discipline shows, I think. Yeah, for me.
I agree, and I think when we first started training, there was no emphasis on that at all, you know. But you know, it's always good looking. Well, looking back, hindsight, you'd be like, yeah, but you had a really good, strong training ethic that was built in. Okay, so the people we were around were really hard trainers, and that's great. And you might not always have everything, but I suppose all you can do now is just focus on those things and push forward.
Yeah, you just learn through the lessons and then just use them to your advantage as you go. Obviously, in an ideal world, you'd have somebody who's experienced those things and can pass on the knowledge. So as I say, you skip through them things that are maybe not necessary to learn through trial and error, but that's just what it is. Everyone's on a different journey.
And there's the bias thing as well, isn't there? Like if something's worked well for you, you pass on that thing, and before you know it, it becomes like a super concentrated direction. One of the guys who I had on a few podcasts ago, he's called Tim Stevenson. He's a shoulder guy.
Yeah.
A few dislocations in rugby, and he's got to a point where he's a really good shoulder expert. And one of the things he really loves is like calisthenics and bodyweight training and gymnast and that type of thing, because that really helped him. And he said, I have a bias towards that. It might be right, it might not be right, but I know it's worked for me, so I'm going to push that. And then he gets to the whole nother ball game, doesn't it? Trying to figure out, well, actually, can you look at things in a balanced way, take the good, and use it with context?
Yeah, that's a big thing. And you get that a lot in martial arts and stuff, because if something's worked for somebody, they're like, I know this path goes A to B and it gets me to where I need to be. But not everybody's path is going to lead there. And that can be a whole range of things, through the way that like an athlete reacts to a certain stimulus, whether their body shape and their athletic abilities. You could have someone who's extremely athletic and somebody who's not. The same route might not get you to this position because you was athletic and maybe you got away with certain things that they need to be super technical about. They can't just explode out of a position. They need to know every small step and goes like they need every little intricate bit of that, because they don't have the athletic ability to explode through stuff. So I think on a coaching term, you have to kind of lower your ego enough to understand that not every thing that you have learned is going to be right for everybody. And you have to get such a broad understanding of different paths to start playing it out and understanding the way that other athletes respond to certain things and help guide them in that way. As opposed to, because what I don't like is if I go to a gym and someone's like, this is how you jab.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. And it's like, okay, cool. If you would say that to take Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson, two extremely great legends in the sport, you teach them how to fight the same way. You teach Muhammad Ali to fight like Mike Tyson, you don't get Muhammad Ali. Yeah. You get Muhammad Ali, teach him, same thing. You're not going to get them those things because they're going to excel in different areas.
It's true. And I think that as well, like the best athletes don't make the best coaches. And I was speaking about this the other day to one of the lads at the gym, but the best athletes have an element of genetic makeup that's got them. Obviously people work for what they've got and all those things. But if you've got like an athlete that's like a really good responder to something, learns really quick, or is super strong without having to work for it as much, if you put them in a coaching situation and they don't have all the knowledge around it, the context to appreciate it, they assume everybody's going to be able to go into the gym, do 3 sets of 10, and they're going to be built like what's that guy from Chicks? Terry Crews. Yeah, they're not going to be built like that. They may be able to look at a drill and be like, okay, I know that now, but not everyone needs that. Some people need reps to get good.
Same thing with learning anything. Like, there's the reason they break down how somebody learns the different styles, because somebody can learn, like you say, super practically. So for me, for example, I can watch somebody do something and I can emulate that very well. But if I had to like study it and it was wrote down or something, good luck.
Yeah.
Like I ain't remembering anything. I'll forget to spell my name in like 5 minutes. But if it's some sort of task that I can see visually, then I can do it straight away. But people will be the opposite of that. So you do have to find them different ways of coaching, and again, just understanding how different athletes react to certain things and understanding there ain't one way for everybody.
Absolutely. I think we kind of recircled round on that one, wasn't there? The first question was 10 years ago. That was it. So I was looking at the nutrition side, the sleep stuff, how everything integrates. But I think just to break that down, understanding everything as a piece, like the machine in general, not just one specific thing. I think that's kind of how I could interpret that answer.
Yeah. It's interesting that there can be so many different factors that it could even go down to, you could have somebody who could be a world champion, but if you put them into the wrong place where they haven't met the right coach, all those abilities may not come out.
Yeah.
But if you put somebody in the perfect, and you get the perfect storm, you put them with the right coach, they're in the right environment, and things can excel from there, which is, completely crazy in itself, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, next one. Let's go for when you're not fighting them, or when you're not training, when you're not kind of immersed in that lifestyle. What are you doing?
For a long time, fighting was it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still obsessed with it now, but I know the importance of coming away from it, and maybe you could call it burnout or something to an extent. So yeah, if I wasn't, it sounds cliche, but if I wasn't training, I was training. Like, I'd be doing everything that I can to train, and I'd be overtraining. And if I wasn't doing that, I was probably at home and I was watching videos and things. And I think that's kind of has its place, but you definitely need outlets of different things away from the sport. So whether you find whatever you could enjoy, if it's like I like to go out and skateboard when I can, or surf, or go away, go watch films in the cinema, and I try and get things away from combat sports, because otherwise I feel like over the years it becomes too much and you kind of lose who you are in a way, that your identity becomes fighting. And I don't want my identity to be fighting anymore, because if fighting gets taken away, which it definitely can, whether people get injured or they have medical problems or something, as soon as you realize that's a reality, and you see it a lot with world champions and things like that, they get that taken away and they get lost.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, who am I? And you see them kind of go off on these weird tangents, or maybe they fight for too long. They should be retired, but they keep putting themselves on the line because they don't have anything else outside of that identity. So you kind of need an identity away from combat sports. You want something that, you want it like, combat sports is something I do, it's not me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So away from that, I just try and find things that I genuinely enjoy. Like I say, they're still active. I don't like just sitting around too much because I get restless. But like I say, I'll go on walks. I'll go skateboarding. I can surf when I want to surf, and just things away from that constant repetition.
I also think having something where you can be a beginner again is quite 100%. Good. Yeah, because you're at the stage where walk into most gyms and you'll be within the top 20%, whatever, if you're in the best gym in the world, you'll be in the top 20% of skills, you know. I think just having something like skateboarding, surfing, learning a new language, something like that is cool. Keeps you humble, that type of thing.
Definitely.
It just reconnects you to what it's actually like to be a beginner. And
I think it re-sparks you to remember how to learn things, because maybe you forget that kind of stuff. But the other thing is, I keep going back to coaching aspects, but like, sometimes when you've been involved in something for so long, so if you've been coaching for 10 years for strength and conditioning or fighting or something like that, you forget what it's like to be a beginner again. So you may think, okay, they need these positions to be able to throw a jab, for example. But fuck, someone walking into the gym for the first time might be petrified that they've got the right shorts on or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you do something for the first time, like you go surfing for the first time, you're conscious, like, is everybody else wearing like a long sleeve rash guard? Do you know what I mean? Like, think stupid things that you won't even think about when you've been involved in that gym for that long. You're just like, yeah, we're going to work on this, but there's so much that's going on when you become a beginner again. And it kind of breaks all that down and makes you realize all these different things that go on inside of people's heads, to be able to reach them a bit better.
Yeah, that's so a term in like sports science is cognitive load. Just being able to cognitively, like in your brain, process what's actually happening. Okay. You've got training load, you know, how much running, jumping, and all that stuff you do. You can be at 100%, but cognitive load is the same thing. How much is your brain actually interpreting? How much can you learn on a day-to-day basis? Your pressures in and out of the gym, same thing. And I think that's super interesting from like a coaching standpoint. How do you structure sessions or a week and that type of thing, where okay, if we're going into a new training block and there's going to be a lot of learning to take place, potentially I'll give you half of stuff you already know really well, so you can focus on actually learning a new skill for the other 50. But what I thought about then when you said about the rash guard, I started learning golf. Go a big golf guy now. I'm absolutely shit. But full beginner, and I went to play 18 holes with some of the boys, and they all take the piss. Obviously, we're all having like shit talk with each other. I say to him, right, what do I need to bring? First 18 holes. One of them was like, right, so you need to bring big bath towel. Bring a big bath towel. You need that and a trowel. And I'm like, fuck, I ain't got a trowel. For anybody that knows golf, they've fucking had me. You don't need a trowel for fuck all.
Yeah, see, you say that, sorry to interrupt you, but like, I'll turn up. I'm going to turn up with, next time I go to golf, if I ever go, I'm going to turn up with a bath towel, and I don't even know what a trowel is.
It's fucking,
do you know?
Spin it. It's a small one, but yeah, it's exactly right. I think being a beginner again is just so good for learning. Just take being an athlete off the table, just being a person that is progressing in something. It's super important. Going back to one of the kind of phrases you said before, what you kind of mentioned, burnout. Is that something you've experienced? Have you been on the edge of it, or have you generally just never? Has it never really been a part of what you do?
It's never hit me in the sense of I felt burnt out and I don't want to do it anymore. But I've definitely got to the point where I say, like, I feel like fighting is my identity. And I guess that can be a burnout in itself, that you become so engrossed and involved in something that it's all you're doing, all you're thinking about. And like you say, your whole identity is, oh, I'm a fight. I compete in this, and that's all your identity is.
Because then if you lose, you've lost as a person.
Oh, trust that. Then it becomes like I say, I love pressure, but that is like you say, that becomes
your self-worth.
Yeah, your self-worth gets put onto that.
You're a shit person.
If you lose, you're a loser. And not everybody thinks you're a loser. Not you went into a competition and you didn't get the nod, and you're still exactly the same person when the sun rises in the morning.
Your family will still love you.
All that same thing.
But we kind of spoke about this a little bit before we were going through the questions, and so it's kind of hard, Nick. You don't want it to consume your every waking moment and who you are as a person. Is that the thing that makes a difference when it comes down to it? Is the and this might be a controversial thing, but is the person that can throw everything at them, willing to die in the ring, willing to give up everything? Are they the winners? Are they the champions? Who knows?
Yeah, I say that on the perspective of being in it and then coming back out of it. But I don't know if you need to go in it to come out of it to appreciate where you need to be able to go. Like the obsession that you do need to be able to put in. Because I've done it for so long in that regard, I don't know if that just unlocks a certain part of your brain that you can go to. It's like, okay, I've got 6 weeks. I'm just going to go into my dark hole. But if you've never become obsessed, have you got that dark hole that you can go into? And is that necessary for you to prepare? So I don't know if that's kind of me being able to go through it and then come out and think, oh, I don't know if that is good, but it may have been. And that maybe takes a little bit more thinking to properly understand if it is right or not. But
I don't think we'll ever fully know the answer for that as well, because you'll have people at the top that are on both ends of that scale. I think you'll have people that manage to have a really balanced lifestyle across the board. But something to ponder there, isn't it? Right, next one. I think one common myth about your profession that you wish you could debunk or just let people know.
So I think the two common myths with fighting is that it's full of meatheads. So if you was to walk into a fighter's gym, I think people would be apprehensive to go in. And I know they are, because I get people who want to go to it and become apprehensive because they think they're going to walk into a gym and get their head smashed in. They think they're going to spar. They're like, oh, I don't want to get hit in this. Whereas we know it's like, we ain't going to put you into spar until we know you're ready. Like, you think we're just going to take you off the street and let you punch people in the head? There's no way. It's so much more of a nicer culture than what it seems, and teaches so much more, whether it's discipline and things like that. as opposed to just coming in and thumping the head off each other.
Mm.
The other thing is that people who are professional fighters probably have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So if you was to see somebody in a big organization, or they're a well-known person inside the sport, you probably think they have a lot of money. Like sometimes when I'll do a Q&A on my story, people will say like, what's your net worth?
Mm.
Like fucking probably less than you, bro.
Yeah.
Probably a lot less than you.
Yeah.
You know.
Hi guys, I'm just going to take a brief break in today's podcast to talk to you about the Adapt online strength and conditioning coaching service. At Adapt, we put the athlete first and make sure that the whole program is set up around them, their goals, their sport, and their lifestyle to achieve the best possible performances. Our aim is to deliver an elite level coaching experience that typically isn't always commercially available if not part of a professional club or performance pathway system. We communicate with our athletes on a weekly and sometimes daily basis, making changes in technique and making alterations to the program based on how you're performing on any given day. We also bring in experts from psychologists, nutritionists, and physiotherapists for online educational workshops to make sure we are giving you all the tools necessary to excel in your sport. So if you're looking to take your physicality to the next level and want to invest in yourself, head over to the website at adaptstrength.co.uk for more information, including some success stories of our current athletes, or drop me a message to set up a chat to discuss the options. Hope you're enjoying today's podcast, so let's get back to it.
So that's a crazy bit that I think is kind of coming to light, but then also I think that's only coming to light in the realm of if you're interested in fighting.
Yeah, it's not common knowledge in that sense.
So I think if you're involved heavily in the sport, you're starting to learn that fighters' pay isn't great.
Yeah.
But on the outside of that, it probably isn't. Like if you was to see somebody, if you knew them and they're fighting in the UFC, so they're at the biggest stage there is in the world, they're fighting in these huge arenas, people know their name, they can be a superstar, they can be like new into the sport and they're known worldwide, and they can still be making no money. Like we spoke about it before, and I was briefly breaking it down, that if you was to go to the UFC, commonly the thing that you get signed on is called a 12 and 12. So you turn up to the fight, you get 12,000 US dollars, and if you win the fight, you get 12,000, which I hate as well, because same again,
your worth.
Man, yeah. you lose a fight, guess what? We're taking half your pay.
You can't feed your family and you're a shit person. Yeah, it's just like double whammy.
Yeah. You want to set up a trail for someone to like go into a spiral of depression, go and do that. I'd much rather it be less and you take it home every time. Yeah. Because obviously it is a game of who is the best, but Christ, people need to eat. But yeah, even there you think, oh, what, you fight for 15 minutes and you get 24 grand? That must be hard. It's like, bro, there's so much to go into that. You get taxed initially on that. So you take your tax away from that. If you're fighting in the States or something, if you get taxed 20% or 40%, that's a huge cut. That's nearly half that money gone. Mm-hmm. So even if you say 10 grand comes off that, you've got 14,000. Your management will take 20%. Your coaches will take between 10 and 20%. So that's another 40% maybe. So that 14 then becomes, even on a good day, say 10 grand again. You translate that 10, 9, 8 grand into English pounds. Yeah. You're looking at maybe 7,000. And then you're getting £7,000 for a fight, and maybe you can fight 3 times a year. You say maybe you're making 20 grand, but you're supposed to be the elite of the elite, fighting in the biggest stage in the world. You're fighting in packed arenas. You're supposed to be a superstar, and someone who works down, not that working regular jobs or something to be looked down at, but the difficulty to be able to get a job at Tesco compared to become a signed fighter for the UFC, which is like 1% of 1%. The difficulty of those lines, but you can come away with 20 grand a year, and somebody working down the supermarket just stacking shelves, which we can all kind of apply for, is just making the same amount of money.
It's mad, mate, and I think I suppose that's where the sponsorship side of things is so important for a professional athlete. If you're allowed them, I know some organisations cut it out and and are really harsh with it, but it really does make the difference in terms of being able to chase your career and push to that next level.
Massively. Then that's where sport turns into you have to be a good athlete, but you have to be an incredible athlete to get to that level. And you also have to become a media guy.
Yeah.
You have to be able to speak in front of a camera. You have to be able to, at this stage in life, create content and have a following and be able to go and jump around and do all these media things because those two fighters may be able to get paid the same thing, but one guy just wants to fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, cool, that's what we do. One guy wants to fight, understands the importance of the media, and builds a huge following. Now you've got two different things. You've got one guy who will reach his friends, and good luck if they're going to like buy or sponsorship stuff. And you've got one guy who can reach 1 million people a week.
Yeah.
Both people will probably get paid the same from sponsorship, but which one they're going to pick?
Yeah, for sure. It's rough as well because you know, like the creative side of putting stuff out is difficult. Some people just hate being in front of a camera. It's not easy. It's not comfortable at all. But yeah, that's the Gary V thing of like you're in the fighting business and the media business. You're in the carpet business and the media business. Everything is to do with media. If you're selling stuff or you're actually, you know, even as a fighter, you're not necessarily selling, but you rely on viewers. You rely on the UFC wanting to sign you and pushing. It's difficult, you know, and I think that kind of that's a huge thing to put out there.
That's one of the most important things. I think one of our questions is, what would you say to people kind of coming up? And to be honest, thinking of it now, that'd be
the one.
That'd be something that you have to take that seriously. And I have friends who are involved in fighting professionals as well, and I've had people who just won't do interviews.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, like you've got
need to do something.
Like, I get it, and a lot of fighters are fighters because I don't know, like some people will be very introverted, and that is their outlet. But not everybody is born to be able to speak in front of a camera. It's the same thing. Not everybody is born being able to fight. It's years and years of practice, hours, repetitions, and eventually you're going to get better at that. Put yourself in there. Put the time to. Even if you're putting content out and gets one like from your phone, like I've been there.
And I'm there.
Yeah, but
Michaela,
you know what I mean? You have to keep putting them repetitions in. So when the big stage does come and you're able to do them kind of thing, you need to be able to do it at this rate, especially the way the world's evolving and everything is becoming content, like we say.
Well, that's the like in front of a camera thing. It's not that you're trying to practice a skill of doing something different. You're essentially practicing being yourself. That is it, but just coming across in a clear way.
Yeah.
And that sounds so backwards that, what do you mean you're having to practice to be yourself? Try it.
Yeah.
Try and record 60 seconds of speaking into a camera, and 20, 30 attempts is gross.
Yeah.
It fucks you up.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say like that. It's being able to relax and be yourself in front of the camera. Yeah, there's so many times where the red light don't come on anymore.
Yeah.
As soon as that camera comes on and you look into that lens,
your tongue falls out. That's it. Tongue's gone.
Falls.
So, question before we go too far with that, then. So, obviously, you've got a really healthy like social media following across like Instagram, TikTok, that type of thing. How much, just the social media side, not speaking about the academy, how much time would you say you kind of spend on content? Yeah, it's hard, you know, because this is, well, answer it and then I'll kind of go through what I think.
A fair bit. Like, it definitely feels like a part-time job that you don't get paid for. You putting in. So you've got the first step, which is thinking about content you want to make. So that could take you between 5 minutes if you get an idea in your head to sitting there and just thinking like, what am I going to film? You've got the actual filming. You're getting used to, as you say, anybody who's tried it, as soon as that camera comes on, filming your first video could take you hours, genuinely hours. I remember I started doing this when I was 21 at university, and I would sit and make videos leading up to fights. And this is 7 years ago, and it would just take me so long to be able to get through it. So there's that aspect. There's then the editing. If you want to hire somebody, like if you've got money, good, fair play. If you haven't got money, good luck.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna need to learn how to edit, which takes more time than the filming, maybe 4 times as much.
Yeah.
So for me, it's a lot of time, and I haven't seen, like I say, I've built a bit of a following, um, but that's from posting every single day for close to 3 years now. That is 3 years of every single day something's going out. There's content going out. I'm replying to messages. I'm replying to comments.
Yeah.
And things will suffer from that. Relationships will suffer from that. You can be out with a friend and you're on your phone because you're trying to social, but you're not actually being social.
Yeah.
But you need to put the hours into those things. So there's so many things that can affect that kind of thing. If the only time you've got to do it is late at night, it's going to affect your sleep. There's so much time that goes into that. And like I say, eventually it will pay, or it may pay. But you've got a better chance. But for 3 years, I've not seen a payday
Yep.
from Instagram, or TikTok's a pretty new one that I've been doing. And definitely it's not seeing a penny from that,
Yeah, just get abuse.
I just TikTok's the worst, man. You people on TikTok, fucking ruthless. I'm glad that I'm in a position where I can see comments and laugh.
Yeah.
If I wasn't, then fuck ever going on TikTok and being a content creator. You got to become thick-skinned.
I don't get a lot of like arguments or hecklers or anything like that. I've probably had less than 10, and I haven't been doing it too long. Oh, first time, fucking, you might as well just cut my heart out. Like it killed, and like you start thinking, oh, fuck, should I have done that? Do I really want to post again? Do you want to put yourself in that situation for that to happen? But the thing is, the loudest boos come from the cheapest seats.
Yeah.
It's always people. You go on Ben's TikTok, it's either got no profile picture or that it's always the same thing.
Yeah. The thing that I think of is, like, for me, I could never go onto a profile. Not that I haven't got the time, because I've got a bit of time. So I know a lot of people say I ain't got the time to do that. I've definitely got the time to sit on someone's Instagram and write bollocks if I want to. But I just never would.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense to write and just call someone, like, make the time that it takes to make an account, fake profile, put someone's comments and call them all the names you can think of under the sun. I'm like, that just doesn't sit with me. So if people are doing that, they're an absolute lame. So you can't take criticism from that. And there's so many quotes that you'll hear from other people talking about this, like, don't take criticism from people that you wouldn't take advice from, and things like that. But
there's there was the Kevin Hart podcast. Kevin Hart, who was a guest on Joe Rogan.
Okay,
and they're speaking about that exact same thing.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan's just like, do you think Michael Jordan leaves YouTube comments?
Exactly.
Does he fuck? I'll do it. He's actually doing something.
Yeah.
And that's the funniest. And it just makes perfect sense when you say it like that.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
Really. And that's how it fits. Fuck. They're called trolls for a reason.
Yeah.
Because trolls slimy, live under a bridge, like. Yeah.
So you've kind of said you spent quite a while. You've got better at it as you've kind of progressed. You got quicker at editing. You've got a backlog of videos you can draw upon and piece together. What would you say? Hour a day, 2 hours a day, 4?
Started as more, and again, imagine starting something and then being 3 years down the line of doing it every day.
Yeah,
you're gonna be better at it. 3 years of doing something every day, So I sat in Starbucks this morning for between an hour and a half and 2 hours, and with that, created my content for the day. So between an hour and a half and 2 hours, maybe, and that's not even the filming. That's already having the things ready, editing, and now there's all things like you've got to add captions to your thing, and there's all those kind of things. But between an hour and a half and 2 hours a day, you add that over 7 days a week, you're at 14 hours. It's a part-time job.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd probably, from like an S&C standpoint, I'd probably say it's about the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just like putting a carousel together of fucking pick a topic in S&C. Okay, you go away, you do a little bit of research on it. You might know, okay, what are the mechanisms behind strength training or cardio, whatever it is. But you still want to double check and make sure the content you're putting out is right. There's the design side, okay, that takes you fucking ages. Pissing around with text and all that. there's then putting it onto your platform. It takes probably an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Do you ever? This is kind of off falling off this question, but kind of relative. Do you ever feel like you get an imposter syndrome even from when you're posting things? If you should be posting the things you're posting.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. It's there's sometimes it doesn't happen. Right, I think when I first started, fucking stress. I can remember being on the phone to Mike at the time. I was probably on the phone to him for about 3 hours, and we was going through what my first ever post on Instagram was going to be on my professional Instagram. Jordan Webster coach. Ages. We wrote out the caption. It was long, and all that was like, hiya, this is my name, this is what I do, this is what I hope for the page.
Yeah.
And it was the worst stress in the world. I was excited, but it was like, fuck. But I still get it now, but I feel like I'm just going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, what is the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
That is one of them. Because there's some really good coaches, and this kind of fills me with a little bit of confidence as well. There's some really good coaches who I respect. Some of the S&C guys may know him, like what's his name? Bloody, here we go. Pat Davidson, Christian Thiobodu. They spoke about some of the times they put out information that was so wrong, and they got heckled, and they were like, "Fuck it," it was bad in that week, but after that, I got over it. And they're like front runners, they're like pioneering S&C, and they're like, "I get shit wrong, and I put it out there, but I like putting my ideas out there because it gets critiqued, it gets stress tested."
Yeah, you think when like how science works, like you make it's all assumptions and things like that. So you make an assumption now. 10 years later, data changes, that becomes irrelevant. So what you say today could be right. That's the thing; it could be right now. In 5 years' time, it may not. So there's kind of those things that add into factor as well, especially with strength training and strength and conditioning is a lot of science based.
Yeah,
Sports science for a reason.
yeah, absolutely. There's a book. It is Black Box Thinking. I don't know if did you listen to it?
I think I bought it, but I don't think I've listened.
It's a long one.
Yeah,
It's a long one, but that basically speaks through. So black box thinking is around the concept of airplanes when they go down. There's a black box on the airplane which basically stores all the information of what went wrong. So you can basically build that into the system next time to make sure it doesn't happen. So the only way you progress from bloody, flying a ship plane 200 years ago to now where it's probably the safest mode of transport is through failures. It's through that black box and feeding it back in.
And having not the confidence, but enough, letting your ego go to know that there was a failure, recording it and looking at it and going back, not pretending that it didn't happen.
Absolutely.
Like, imagine if that was never a thing, and every time a plane went down, they were just like, shut.
Yeah.
Next one.
Putting this into bloody fighting talk, mate. Like, if you were so scared of being hit all the time, you'd never throw a shot.
Yeah.
That's it, And how good are you getting if you never throw a shot?
Yeah.
If you're scared of getting hit.
Which happens.
It does
happens all the time.
You have to break past it, though.
Yeah. You have to. People freeze in their moments, but as soon as you kind of keep putting yourself in that situation, the more that you realize you can handle that, and it's just you're not made out of glass. You get punched in the head. Like you go swimming, you're going to get wet.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So building on them, so we spoke through social media. So that's kind of the front end of what people see. And I know the answer to this one already. What about the academy? So you put together this academy. How long does that take to put together? Because we've spoke about how sick it is. The people that have come on, compliment on how integrated it is and how much detail goes in. How much are you spending time-wise on
that? I've spent the best part of 3 years going into that to get it to develop. There's so much that have gone into that. I wanted to create a product that is like I've put my whole heart into. Like the same thing that if I'm competing in something, I will never half-ass it. It's going to be every part of me. Like I can't half-ass something if it's actually going to have my name on and stuff. So I mean, for the academy, it started years ago. I had the idea, and then it just slowly develops, and you start putting work in, and that is the same thing as like social media. Like if I collect the hours that I've put into social media growth, where it's 14 hours a week for an estimate, you do that over 52 weeks. You're starting to look at 500 hours. You do that over 3 years. You're looking at 1,500 hours, probably the same as gone into the academy. Like, and the same thing. I created it for myself 10 years ago, 12 years ago. A place where you can be confident in the content, that you know it's battle tested. You know that people have put their heart and soul into learning those things. You know that it's going to be correct for now. But fighting kind of is always this.
It's the right weapon at that time.
Yeah, and there's always going to be things like that going on. So yeah, I've put my life for 3 years into that, and obviously as it comes closer to websites developed, you're making sure everything's there. Like a lot more time goes into it. But I wanted to, I've made it for it's accessible for beginners. So if you're looking to start without knowing anything, it'll work for you. If you're a hobbyist who enjoys it and wants to excel your learning, it's right for you. If you're a professional fighter and you're looking for things that's going to excel your sport in the ring, whether that's techniques, it's weight cutting, it's mindset, there's going to have a thing for you there. And to be able to develop a thing like that, and like I said, to put my name on it, I want to be proud of it. It's taken a while. I'm glad that it's there forever, and it's kind of like my book. A lot of people will go through a profession and they'll write a book. I feel like right now, maybe I'll write a book in the future, but right now that is my book. And yeah, I want to be proud of everything that I'm putting into it. It's taken a minute, but I'm glad that it's taken a minute, and I will continue to put all the hours that I can into it.
Yeah. I've spoken to a few people because we have like a few similar followers and that type of thing. So some of the guys that are on the academy speak to me about S&C stuff and just kind of pick my brains around the program and how they kind of balance and things. And the feedback that they've been giving is absolutely sick. And I've told you that, and I'm like feeding everything back to you. Ways we can improve things that are working super well. New techniques. What do they want to see? What's going on? It's good. And this is just where it's at the minute. Obviously, it's just going to keep going. That's the thing. It's going to keep developing until the day you die.
Yeah, the great thing is, as it develops, I want to be able to invest all the money that comes through it back into it through the sale. And again, it becomes a better product over time. So 16-year-old me or 24-year-old me or the hobbyist or something later down the line wants to improve or change their lifestyle, the product's only going to get better. So for me, it's something that I would keep reinvesting in. And as you say, the feedback, every time I get a piece of feedback from it, I take so much. Again, it's a part of my identity now. It's I put myself out there, and I love reading the feedback, and even the feedback. I ask for negative feedback because that's the only thing that's going to help change.
It's literally break this for me. Show me how you're going to break it.
And that may be a hard thing to start with and to read. And even if I ask for, give me some honest feedback of things you would change, and people are like, "Oh, I wouldn't really change anything," and I'm like, try and think of anything.
Do me a favor,
because that's the only thing that's going to make your experience for the academy better. You tell me something that, maybe we could improve, even if it's something I've not thought about. Like I had somebody say, I'd love to know some more about mobility. I'm like, great. Now I'll reach out for a mobility coach, which I have, and they will drop soon. Now we're going to have a full mobility, because if you think that, there may be 10 other people that think that. And now that's going to be able to affect them positively, and the experience of the academy is going to be even better for them. So I'm huge on biting on letting my ego come down and go, okay, how can I improve it?
Sick. Thanks for listening to the Adapt Performance podcast. Let me know what you thought about the episode by leaving a review or sending me a direct message. I'm all for receiving the honest feedback to make sure the episodes grow and get better and better. Like, share, subscribing and following all goes a long way to making sure the podcast reaches the right people. Thanks a lot. Catch you next time.